Hello, everyone. Hello. I welcome all of you to the Pick Parent Academy platform here on YouTube. And my name is Ikia Safo. This is the Pick Parent Academy. Today, I welcome you, and I know that today is also going to be another, interesting session where we are going to learn a lot. So you can share this to your friends, to your family, to other parents. And if you are catching a replay too, I welcome you. Share. You can also share to anyone at all that you want to. You think that they can benefit from what we teach here in the on YouTube. So if you haven't shared, just go to share the link and share the link, copy the link and then share to other parents as well. I welcome you once again. And it's our first module, or it's our first class for 2025. And the topic we are discussing today is 5 parenting goals that every parent must have or must set in 2025. We are in a new year, and most of us have set our goals, our personal goals and all of that. But I want to ask you, have you set your parenting goals? If you have, put it in the comment section and let's see it. If you have, just write, yes, I have. If you have set your parenting goals, just put it in there in the comment section and let us know that you have. Okay, so we see a garden. Most of the time, when you see a garden and with beautiful flowers, the flowers, have blossomed, they are so beautiful. It is because someone tended to the garden. There was a gardener who was watering, the plants, who was cutting the unnecessary weeds and taking good care of that plants in the garden. So parenting is like gardening, your child. So whatever you are doing for that child is what the child will grow to become. So if you have a vision that you want your child to follow, you want to start now and plan. You need a plan in your parenting. You need to plan. You cannot just do anything. Now, if you are a parent, if you are a positive parent, if you are an intentional parent, if you are a conscious parent, then you need to work with a plan. Any parent at all will work anyhow. They don't have any plans to follow because they just do anything because they don't even know it's important to have a plan. But you need to have a plan. You need to be a parent who works with a goal in mind. When you do that, it helps you. You don't look at where other people are going because you are focused on what you want to get to. You are focused on what you want to see in your children. You are focused on the kind of family you want to build. So you don't just do things that other people are doing. You don't follow blindly. And that is what is important. That is what we all need to have in mind. As we are setting goals for other aspects in our lives, we need to also note that it's important that we set our parenting goals as well. So the kind of goal you set in your parenting will depend on the area you want to focus on. So you have your family, your children, in mind where you want to get to as a family. So the focus could be on connection goals. Maybe you want to connect more with your children. Maybe you know that, my children, I have lost connection with my children. So your goal, as part of your goals, will be to write down connection goals. How can I really connect with my children? And most of us write just the goals without really without really following it. We just set the goals because we don't break the goals down into strategies, how we are going to achieve these goals. So we just set the goals and put them somewhere. If you do that, you are just like the parent who doesn't set any goal at all. So you want to set the goal, break it down into what you are going to be teaching, per time. You have a goal every month. You know what you are going to teach, and we are going to go deeper in the inner tribe. Those who have registered for the inner tribe are going to really get a deeper class on this, how to set their goals, how to implement each goal every time, so that they will see the results they want to see at the end of the day. So if you want to know how to do all of these things, you want to join the inner tribe now. We are closing in just a few days. And once the time is up on 30th January, we are no more going to take any other person. We are just going to work with the parents we've gotten in the tribe. So if you haven't joined now, you can do so now, and we will put all the details in the group, or you can also send us a message so that we can send all the details to you. So your parenting goals will depend on the goals you set, will depend on the things you want to achieve per time. So it could be connection goals, as I said, it could be discipline goals, it could be that you want to teach skills to your children. So what kind of skills do you want to teach your children? Is it emotional intelligence skills? Is it other skills? Whatever skills you want to teach, you focus on skills training, and then you also focus on learning styles. Learning style goals. When I say learning styles goals, there are some time ago, a parent actually sent me a message, and she was asking the child doesn't like learning and all of that. So you need to know your child's learning, how your child learns, to be able to help the child. If you don't understand how your child learns, you will be teaching that child from your learning style, and the child will not really get it. They will not understand, because, say, for instance, your child is an auditory learner, and you are a visual learner. So you teach based on how best you, the parent, learns. So you are teaching, you are just teaching. Your child is good when they hear more, when you tell them things to do. Or let's say, for instance, let me put it this way instead. So for instance, your child is a visual learner, okay? Your child is a visual learner, and you are an auditory learner. So you are always all the time talking. When your child does something, you talk. You are talking. The child also wants to see. When the child sees, they are able to really get what you are teaching them. But here are you talking. So the child doesn't really get it at the end of the day. So you want to focus on your child's learning style. How can you help your child learn? So that it should be the goals you can set along that side. So you find all other things you can help your child build their learning style, whilst also teaching the other learning styles. Because of course, your child's learning style alone, your child will go to school, and the school may not use their learning style to teach them. So you want to also, as you are building your child's, learning, how they are able to learn best, you also want to focus on the other areas, okay? And you also can have educational goals. Educational goals can be, it's not, you shouldn't only focus on letting how your children can just get good grades, how your children will get pass exams and get good jobs. No, it's not only about that. So we are going to actually go deeper into that. You need to have a plan in your parenting. Having a plan helps you focus on what you have to do. You don't end up doing just what anyone is doing. And you need to also take note of this. There is nothing like a perfect parent. There is no perfect parent. There's an intentional parent, a parent who is able to guide her children, a parent who sees what they want to achieve, and they guide their children intentionally. There are no perfect parents, so don't expect your children. Your children too don't have to be perfect. You need to understand that part. Don't seek perfection all the time. Your children will make mistakes, and if you have a goal, a plan that you are working with, you are able to know when to correct the child. You are able to know when you actually have to correct. So if you haven't actually connected with a child, you can't correct that child, because they won't listen. And it's even with us as adults. Most of the time, when people come to you and, or even, let's say, your friends, or like, before anyone can correct you, the person, before you actually listen, okay, before you listen to someone, like maybe you make a mistake and someone corrects you, if you really listen to what the person is saying, it means there has been a connection. You have some sort of connection with that person. So you like that person because they've been able to connect with you. So you listen to them. And it's the same thing with kids. If you are always struggling, giving instructions, always, telling your children, yelling at them, beating them, if your home is filled with all of these things, then there's a problem. You need to really sit down and take a look at it again and tell yourself, how can I improve? How can I get better as a parent to be able to help my child? It's very necessary. It's very necessary. When you see your child, make some mistake, especially in public, you see your children, mess up, make some mistakes. Don't react. Don't all of a sudden do things because most of the time we want other people to see that we are really disciplining our children. But discipline, I say, it is not about beating. Discipline has been abused. The word discipline has actually been abused. So disciplining a child is not you yelling at the child or disgracing the child, shaming the child. It's about correcting the child. It's about guiding the child or putting some systems and structures in place to help the child put up a better behavior. When they mess up, you take your time, you teach them. So that is it should all be part of our parenting goals. If you are working with a goal, you will not disgrace your child in front of people. You will not shame them because you want to prove something to other people. Think about it. Most of the times we yell at our children in public, we shame them because we want other people to think that we are like doing the job right, like we are not raising children for them to come and do anything. It's like we want to prove something to other people. But take a second look at it again. Why do you have to prove something to other people? If you are working with a plan, do you have to prove something to someone? No, because you know what you are doing. You know that it's okay, my child will mess up, because yes, parenting is in the mess. Let the children mess up. That is how they will learn. That is how they will learn. So they mess up in places, other places. It's okay, take it, like note it down, and then at an appropriate time, tackle it, talk about it with the child, and let them know what to do next time. You don't just disgrace your child in public because they put up certain behaviors. Please, if you are joining in now, I welcome you to the Pick Parents Academy platform. I welcome all of you. I want you to join in. If you have any questions too, you can put it in the comment section and we will look at it at the end of the class for you. So let's move on. And please, if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and subscribe. You can also share the link to your friends and family and anyone that this class will be of benefit to. So let's move on. You need to know, okay, you need to know when to correct that child. Don't focus on what other people will think. What other people will think is their problem. Let them think about it. Just focus on what you want to see in your child. No one is perfect. We are all not perfect, but we need to be intentional so that we will raise these children to know where, we will raise these children to become great impact makers. I hope I am making sense. So if you don't have a plan, you need to have a plan now. And these are some of the things we are going to teach in the inner tribe. See, like we are going to give you the basis, what you need to do. You need to have, you need to put the foundations right. You need to have your values, your mission, your vision. Where are you going as a family? Where do you want to see your family? Where do you want to see yourself? It's important. You can't, if you, for instance, you want to go somewhere, you don't know where you are going, and then you just set off. Like your destination, you just get anywhere and you may end up messing things up. So you need to have a vision, a mission, and some values. You need to set values. So even before, and this thing is not about, it's not like your children should be of a certain age before you begin to parent or raise them intentionally. Even if you haven't given birth, that is the best time actually to learn parenting. There's I think is it in I've forgotten, I think in Israel or something. I heard that before, when you complete school and you reach a stage for marriage, or if you want to give birth, you go there, they take you through some trainings about parenting before you'll be able to marry. They will let you know the basic things you have to do. They will take you through some trainings before you marry and give birth. So by the time you give birth, you understand the child that you have, and you know what you have to do to raise this child. If your child is young and you know these things, you are able to parent peacefully. Like, it makes the work so easier for you. You understand the child, you understand the developmental stages of each child, what they do at every stage, at every point in time, and you know what to do because you've been trained, you've learned, you know what to do, you understand the child that you are raising, so it doesn't get overwhelming. You fight all the time with your children because you haven't built capacity. Your children doesn't have capacity to do the things you're expecting them to do. And you also don't have that capacity to teach what you want your children to do. So there's always, there's always the fight, the yelling, the beating, and all of that in the home. But if you are able to build capacity, if you are able to learn, to train, to know all of these things, you understand there are certain things that if you know, life becomes simple and easier because you know how to go about it. But if you don't know, you struggle with it. And parenting is one area that people make comments like, why should someone come and teach me how to raise my children? Why should I even learn parenting? It's one of the difficult jobs here on earth and very, very, very important. And if it's important, if it's necessary, if it's important, why don't we have to learn? We need to learn it. We go to school, we learn how to become, if you want to become a doctor, you don't just, you don't just go and you say you are a doctor. You go through trainings, you learn, you go to school before you can become a doctor. If you want to become a lawyer, you go to school. You do some, assignments, you do all of that before you can be called a lawyer. So why is it that when it comes to parenting, the moment you say you need to learn parenting, you need to get trained to become a parent, it becomes an issue for a lot of people. And that is why we are struggling. Look at the many years we've yelled at our children, the many years we've been beaten up, the many years we've done things that we think are the right things. But look at the problems we have now. We have problems, we have challenges. It means there is a problem at the root. And it's the way we were brought up. It's the way we were brought up. If our parents knew better, if our parents knew how to do certain things right, we would have grown to solve the many challenges we have here in Africa. I always say these things and I will never stop saying it. The challenge is with how we are raising these children. We are doing anything without following any plans, any goals. We are doing just anything, following the trend. Today, you see a parent, dressed in some way because there is no value. The parent doesn't know what they don't know their values, their personal values. They dress in any way, show their breasts, show their, themselves, all of that. And you have a younger child watching. What are you modeling to this child? What are you telling the child to become? What do you want your child to become? So if you are doing things intentionally, if you are doing things, if you have a goal, if you have a plan, you know what you have to do at every point in time. You won't follow the trend. You won't say this is the style that is up, like this is what's up. So everyone is showing their breast, so you're also going to show your breast. No, it's not part of your values. So you don't do it because other people are doing it. You don't do it. So we need to take note of this. And before we go on, before we set our goals, we need to put these things into consideration. Now think about the person you want to see your child become. Visualize it. Who do you want your child to become? If your child should hit 18 years, if your child should hit 30 years, 25 years, if your child is coming to you, okay, if you're in a room and your child should come to you now, who do you want to see? Can you describe it? If you can, write it down. This is who I want to see my child become when they grow, when they hit age 25. So if you have that picture in your mind, then you write it down, okay? And then you state out, what are some of the things, what are the things that I have to do from from when I give birth, okay? From, let's say your child is a baby, from age 1 to the toddler stage, what do I have to teach the child? Because you have the goal, you know what you want your child to become. So you are thinking, what do I have to teach the child from at the toddler age? When they become preteens, what do I have to teach them? When they become teenagers, what do I have to teach them? When they become, adults, young adults, what do I have to teach them? So that is, you are working with a plan because you know who you want your child to become. Now, if you don't have a clear vision, if you don't have a plan, you are very unlikely to reach this goal. You will never be able to reach that goal without a plan, without a clear vision. You won't be able to reach that goal. So it's very important that you take this, you have a vision. Where is your family going? Where is your family going? What, think about it. What character do you want to see in your child when they face any challenging situation? See, this thing, when I say people go like people don't want to even say that. Do you know you can die at any time? We can die. Any of us, death can happen at any point in time. So if you should ask yourself now, if you should die right now, will your children be able to take good care of themselves? This is a serious question. We don't have to joke about it. There are parents who have lost their life. They didn't see it. They didn't even think about it. Like, they thought they were always going to be there for their children. And that is one mistake. That is one problem that we have. We think we are always going to be there for our children. So we do things for them. Things that we have to do for them, the things that they have to do for themselves, we do for them because we think we are always going to be there for them. I tell my children, they ask me, Mommy, why do you want us to do this? Why do you let us do this? And I tell them, yes, I'm not going to be always there for you. You have to learn so that you'll be able to do it for yourself. That is how you become responsible. So we need to ask ourselves, what is that character that I want to see in my child when they face a challenge in their lives? What do I want to see? You can get ill, you can be bedridden. You may not be able to do anything at that point. What you have been able to build, that skill that you have been able to build in your child, will be that thing that will save you at that point in time. There are parents where there was a video I watched some time ago. It was a parent and she was in the kitchen with their children and she fell, like she fainted. And the child was just crying, hitting the mom. The child didn't know what to do. So I showed that video to my kids and I asked them, so if this should happen to mommy, what will you do? So you need to teach them all of these things, create a scenario, create a situation, and teach your child. So if this thing should happen, this is what you have to do. If mom faints, if we are in the kitchen and something happens to me, if you are there and you see me unconscious, you need to call this number. This is daddy's number. So we have all the numbers. If you ask my toddler, what is mommy's number? She will just mention it to you. It's something that we need to teach intentionally. If you don't teach it, no one will teach it for you. It's your job as a parent to teach these things to your children. If you don't do it, no one will do it for you, not the church, not the society. It is your sole responsibility as a parent to train yourself, to get trained, to be able to help your child, to build capacity to be able to help your child. Don't think that it is someone's responsibility. This is a serious business. This is a serious thing that we are talking about. Don't take it for granted. Don't play about it. Ask yourself. And if there is anything called a ghost, okay, if you die and your ghost is there and you are looking at your child is helpless, you are going to cry. You are really going to cry because you didn't build any skill in your child. The child is helpless and people will just mess your child up. So we need to take our parenting very seriously as we are taking our other areas of our life seriously. That is how we need to treat our parenting. We need to be like serious with it because God has given us a destiny. Okay, He has put a destiny in our hands. He knows that we can bring this child up to be able to fulfill that destiny. But we mess everything up because we don't train ourselves, because we don't learn, because we think it's not even necessary to learn parenting. That is what we think. It's time. I know it's not too late. We can still do better. We can still learn. Okay, so let's take note of that. We need to have that at the back of our minds, that we need to learn. We need to learn. People say there are no principles to parenting. Just do what works for you. Do what works for you. Continue doing what works for you. There are principles. Anything that you have seen that is working, it is working because there are principles to it. Because there are principles. If you want to become healthy, if you want to become, let's say, healthy at age 50, where most people will be wouldn't be able to work, wouldn't be able to do most things, they'll be complaining of body pains and all of that. You want to sit down now and plan for it. There are some principles you need to follow. You need to stop eating junk. You need to take your health very seriously. You need to exercise. And that is how you can achieve that. That is how you can achieve that. So there are principles to anything that works. And this parenting is also part. Parenting is part. So we need to take note of that. We need to take note of that. And also know that take note of what you are also modeling. What are you modeling to your child? If you want to raise a leader, you need to start buying books. You need to read yourself as a mother, as a father. You need to read so that your child see the importance of reading. Most of the times, we want our children to be doing things. We expect our children to be reading. Expectations are good, but ask yourself, have you built that skill in the child? Have you taught the child? Have you lived that, that thing that you want to see your child do? So sit down and ask yourself these questions. There are so many things that we have to do. Certain things happen because our children are learning the things we do. If you have issues with emotional intelligence, if your children can't control their emotions, you need to have a plan for it. You need to train yourself so that you'll be able to help your children. Anything you want to see in your child, you need to see it in yourself so that you can help the child. If you don't fill your cup, you will not be able to pour for others. So you need to get trained to be able to help your child, to be able to help them, because as I always say, they are new beings. They've come here. So imagine you go to another planet and you don't know anything there. You don't understand how anything works there on that different planet, because they are not like you. Like you, even if you are like them, like you don't understand anything. You are new there. And then someone tells you, okay, welcome to this planet. Welcome to, let's say, Jupiter. Here, if you want to go here, you walk, you take a walk back. You don't walk forward, you walk back. There are certain things. So they take you around to know how things work there. And because you are new there, sometimes you make mistakes, you mess up. What they've taught you, you don't do exactly that, you do a different thing. And all they do every time you make a mistake is they beat you, they beat you, they beat you. Ask yourself, how will you feel? You will be saying, but I'm new here. I don't know things here. So take your time with me. That is the same thing with our children. They don't know. We've been here for years, but they've been here for just some 10 years, 6 years, 5 years, 2, 3 years. And we expect them to be so perfect. We expect our children to be perfect. Instead of us to focus on what we have to teach these children, we are just always all the time focusing on, how to raise children who are perfect, because we are comparing them with other kids. But you don't know what their parents are also doing in the home to raise them. So ask, what are you doing? Okay, instead of just comparing yourself and doing unnecessary things, ask yourself, how is this parent training their children? There is no perfect child. There is no perfect parent. You get trained to be able to do things intentionally for your child. you get trained to be able to do things intentionally for your child. And another question you also need to ask yourself is, what do you want for your children? What do you want for your children? It's not about, like, people say, I want the best for my children. Yeah, we all want the best for our children. But it's not, wanting the best for your children is not about they going to school and passing their exams. No. There are so many things that, is important in this life. There are so many things. You need to teach them emotional intelligence. We want our children to be able to control their emotions, to be able to control themselves whenever they find themselves in a difficult situation. You want a child who will be able to calm down and think before they act. You need to teach emotional intelligence. Okay? You need to teach emotional intelligence. So whatever thing that you want to see in your child, you just need to become it for your child. And the next thing is, you need to start now. Yes, start now. You need to, become consistent. Consistently. Don't say your child is young. Don't say your child is young. So my child is young, so I can't. Sorry for the noise at the background. We are doing a few things here. That is why it's like that. So don't say your child is young, so you don't need to know anything about parenting. Your child is old, so imagine you can't do anything about it. It's just the only thing is that when your child grows, of course, it becomes difficult. It's not like it's not possible. When you know what to do, it becomes easier. You are able to do it, though it's difficult when your children grow, okay, but it's still possible. But if they are young and you start, things become easier for you. You get trained. You know how to handle your toddler. There are things you can teach your toddlers. So there are things they can help you do at home. My toddler, whenever she pours water on the floor, I don't go about yelling, shouting. No. She knows water. There's water on the floor. I poured water on the floor. I just have to go for the mop and clean it up. You need to have a goal, a plan. How are you teaching these things to your child? How are you teaching it to your child? It's important. Let us take note of this. So you can join the inner tribe if you haven't joined. We had some payment plans, but the payment plan is over. So now if you want to join, you have to make the full payment before you can join. And once registration closes, we are not opening it up until the next year. So once we close for 2025, you won't be able to join again until next year, February 2026. So you want to take note of that. And if you haven't joined, you need to have a budget. I say this, you need to have a budget for parenting. And even if you're still, maybe due to some one or two things, you will not be able to join, we will be having courses that will be open to other people who are not in the inner tribe. So you can also learn these from these monthly courses that we will be doing. But I say that it's important. You need to have a budget for your parenting. As you have budgets in other areas of your life, have budgets. How? Where are the areas I need to learn? I need to get trained to be able to help my child. Without a plan, you go anywhere. You go anywhere. If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. So do you want to fall for anything? Do you want to do anything at all that people are doing? If you do that, you end up anywhere. And I believe that this is not what we want for ourselves. We want to raise a generation who will be capable to solve the problems that we have here in Africa. I say that if we will be able to have that kind of people, if we will be able to raise that powerful generation, it depends on us, the millennials, we the millennials, and the Gen Zs. Those of you who are parents, see, we have a lot to do to help these children. There is a lot to learn to be able to help them so that we can have that, so that we will be able to one day sit back and say, yes, we did it. Dubai, you can go and read about how Dubai became Dubai. It was because of the leaders they had. They had a plan and they followed that plan. And today they have it. It's become real. Their children okay, have benefited from what their leaders, the goals that their leaders set, and they implemented every bit of it. So if we are going to see a whole new generation tomorrow, okay, if we are going to see a whole new generation tomorrow, it depends on what we do now. There's a Chinese proverb that says the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. The best time to plant a tree was yesterday, and the next best time to plant a tree is today. So it is not too late. So far as we know and we are willing to build the capacity, we are willing to learn, to get better so that we can raise that generation that we intend to. It is not over. We can still do it. We can still do it. So, dear parents, I would like to end here with this class. I know and I hope it has been eye-opening. I know it's been valuable. I know you've had value from this class. So you can still share. You can still share. You can still, catch the replay. If you couldn't join us, you can still share to other parents who also catch replay. And see you next week for another class. Next week, we are also going to bring you a very interesting topic that we can all learn from. If you want to know more about how you can join the Inner Tribe, you can send us a message. You can follow us on Instagram and send us a DM at the Peak Parents Academy. And you can send us a message where we respond to you. We will send you all the details that you need to know to be able to join the Inner Tribe. It's going to be a transformative journey. There are things that we don't know, and that is why we do what we do. But if we know, we will be able to we are conscious, we are intentional because we have learned and we know how we want things to go. Okay, we run with a goal. So if you want to know all of that, note that the things you don't know can cost you. The things you don't know can cost you. There's this thing that we say that if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Try remaining ignorant, and you see the cost of it. Ignorance costs a lot than educating yourself, than training yourself. So if you think getting trained as a parent is expensive, then remain ignorant and you will see where it will end. I know that we are all willing to get better to raise a powerful generation. I'll see you next week for another interesting class. Bye-bye and enjoy the rest of the day.